All right, ChefJCunningham.com. We haven't done that in a while. Welcome back to Make More Money Podcast. Bobby Castro, non-refundable minutes, positive mental attitude all the time. Listen, I just rewatched this episode. I'm going to share at the end my 3 takeaways that I did from then till now, but I'm so blessed to have interviewed Bobby Castro. Thank you guys. Click like, subscribe, and share this video out if you get inspired by any moment. One of the things I'm going to say that he said really quick is when it doesn't matter if you're 19, it's when maturity, when operation meets preparation, that happens. And by the way, as we're out here, closer ever to Kokomo J is the dream, okay? By helping enough people get there where they want, you get to you want. There's a guy, beautiful. I'm very thankful about the maintenance man here. Actually, I used to do that, man. The fact that I don't need to do that, I'm so grateful for it now. By literally, the Lord's given me so much great value. As we're cooking to bulk up, we're doing a new shred. By the way, if you guys are here, December 11th, I know you guys listen to Tim's Story podcast. If not, he's getting an award. We're doing an epic meetup December 11th here in Midtown Miami. If you're around Miami, DM me VIP or check the links below. December 28th is our next workshop we're doing on faith, fitness, and family. Actually, faith, fitness, and finance. Still haven't got the family. Listen to the tip that we have with me and Bobby about relationships, man, as it's in here. And by the way, this sponsor, if you can't tell, is Progretta.com. It's our goal high level, okay? But it's my goal high level. It's the one that Andy Audate, my friend, built out over the day. We just did an affiliate marketing thing in Vegas for it. Check the link below to sign up for it. If you want all the template snapshots and everything, you're looking to do coaching, that you can hear me with Bobby Castro saying, like, hey, I'm a coach. I'm not trying to be the most greedy. Back in the day before I was closing, $50K and $2,000 a session, all that. By the way, with that said, we're building this podcast, sponsored podcast. We have Jumi. We're going to do a cutout for them. You're going to see this. Thank you, Kim and Jay, for sending me 2 cases of this. The one thing I love about being Jeff the Entrepreneur was being a paid influencer, getting people to send me stuff like that. It's the coolest thing ever. And these things is Juni's for a happy mind. It's herbal tea. It's 5 calories. It's phenomenal. I just gave it to one of my friends the other day. I loved it. We gave it at the workshop. So sit back, relax, watch this episode, and watch it at the end to see where it is. I got to go flip my chicken.
You're amazing. I've done a lot of interviews, just, a little feedback. You're a great interviewer too.
Never lose that magic, Jeff.
It's Jeff J here to make your day. Welcome to the Make More Money podcast. Guys, I just had a great little introduction to my friend and someone I'm just going to be really connected with in the future because I just like everything. I'm glad his son talked to him to his social media because he's already giving me value. Our mission to you is give you value today in any way. So if you guys are lost, stuck at home during this whole virus, I want you to hear I bring on a lot of great people and none better than Bobby Castro, who had a pretty cool exit to a company and is highly invested in real estate, and that's what he's working on now. Bobby, that was my little introduction. Can you tell people 60, 90 seconds about yourself?
Yeah, dude. Thank you, Jeff. Thank you, and thanks for the invite. And I'm really grateful and looking forward to, forming a relationship with you, man. You're good people. I know you know some people that I know. Bobby Castro, I said the story several times. I failed at the 3rd grade. I wasn't the best student, not misbehaved. I just had a lot of questions. Even today, I don't comprehend things quickly. I have to ask many questions so I make sure I understand and get it right. And even at times when I do understand it, I want to ask some more questions. And I frustrated teachers. So I failed the 3rd grade. My mom, she raised me a waitress, 3 full-time jobs being a waitress. Before Denny's, it was Sambo's. And she worked on the graveyard shift. So you and your buddies, when you come home late from a party or a wedding, that beautiful waitress, that was my mom. Her name is Kathleen. They call her Kathy, but most friends call her KC. And after that gig was done, she walked home. She didn't drive home because there was no car. We lived close by her jobs. And she went home for a few hours, showered, went to a 2nd gig waiting on tables, and then a 3rd gig at night at the Roney Pub Steakhouse in Miami Beach. And she raised us, man. We lived on Rent-A-Center furniture. We had bad credit. We had no money to buy credit or buy furniture. My dad was really passive. He passed at 94 years old. Fast forward, because of my mom, giving me the opportunity when I said after the 9th grade, Mom, school's not for me. I want to leave. And back then, Jeff, it was junior high, man. It was not high school like it is today. Right. And there was no pushback. And I got my first job. She got me my first job at the Squally's restaurant on 57th Avenue in Hialeah. My biggest wow moment, haha moment, even today at 53 years old, when I got my first job, she bought me Payless. We went to Payless, got my black sneakers, black shoes, got a Kmart white shirt, long sleeves, belt, black slacks, and I became a takeout boy. And back then, you were not allowed to hire young people until they were 16, and then restrictions of hours. But Pasquale did my mom a favor and hired me, and it was a game changer. But it didn't happen overnight. You know, I figured out everything by mistake and by just accident. Somehow, some way, I had no internet back then, man. There was no direction. Made a ton of mistakes. Today, you know, Sophie and I created, you know, $350 million portfolio, primarily of real estate, multifamily assets, properties. We exited a company we founded last June for $1 billion valuation. Before that, we took some chips off the table based on $600 million and $250 million. You know, I never raised any capital, no investors, no syndication, including my real estate and businesses, because I didn't know anybody. Yep.
When you say that, because I'm very much like that right now. So I pitched one of my softwares, but I pitched it and said, I don't even want your money in the pitch, because I'm very, and I don't know, something about you, I want to be up there saying, hey, I didn't raise any money. Now, if we needed to market it, okay, I'm going to do ego. But, like, where does that come from? Hey, I never raised any money. I want it because I have that. I just want to say.
Yeah, no. And where it comes from, because obviously later in life, I was exposed to people looking for money from me to invest in their opportunities, which some of them I took advantage of. And I see a lot of them, awesome individuals. Even today, they spend a tremendous amount of energy because, you know, versus actually executing the plan. Not all of them, but a few of them. And I didn't know anything. I didn't know anybody back then. In the neighborhood I lived in, we didn't have 2 pennies or a window to throw out of. I didn't know there was even a possibility someone was willing to give you money and take a risk on you. Yeah. I wasn't even willing to take a risk on me. So I just didn't know any better other than working. I used to try to skip the process, Jeff, without the hard, little, small, frustrating efforts that we refuse to go through because we feel like it takes too long, which it really doesn't. But that's a backdrop as to that. When you hear me say that, it's just I get pitched a lot, and I see them spending so much energy versus maybe outsourcing it or maybe being more efficient, and they're losing the action plan, the strategy of executing their business plan, and they're just constantly raising, but you're forgetting about what you're raising for.
Yeah. So I see that all the time. You see, you're very smart. The guys have the better, I don't have the perfect pitch deck. And it's because I love the business aspect. I'm a true entrepreneur. I love needling everything. I'm doing the hard stuff so I can train someone else to do the hard stuff. You know, that's what I love doing. Like, so when you say that, I always say that because eventually right now, I've lost a lot of money just like everybody else. I'm sure we have. This has been a tough time for everybody, right? So I'm retooling, you know, as long as you don't lose your courage, as Grant says, you know, you'll be fine, man. Yeah. So I want to ask you that. What was the $1 billion? For people who didn't know, the one that you had the $1 billion exit, that valuation. What business was that?
You know, that was a business that I primarily started when I was a waiter at Rusty Pelican on Key Biscayne in Miami. My wife used to take me to work and pick me up at the night shift, and then during the day, I was selling memberships for the Better Business Bureau and other type of products and services. Yeah. And I started something on the kitchen table where you put business owners that are in need of equipment, and you locate lenders that want to fund the opportunity, and in exchange for it, the lender pays you a commission. And because of my hospitality background, because of my hardworking mom, and I became a waiter, a busboy, valet parking, I picked up on good people skills because my mom was focused, Jeff, on tremendous value, giving value, having a good experience because she needed that 18% tip to feed her 3 boys. So I was so accustomed of serving. You know, my mom was a server all her life, and it just caught on to me. So I was really good with customers, and without knowing the power of value, I was giving more value than receiving. It was amazing. I always talk about being valued. Don't worry about getting paid. You will get paid somehow, some way. Just be over the top about value, even if it's more value than you're receiving, as long as you're getting value. So I started that deal. And with my good people skills and changing my environments, massive, complete change, because in the neighborhood I was at and my family, we only had a certain amount of information that we were all exposed. We had the same information. That means we were stuck because we had no more information to digest and take action. And most won't even take action at that time. So I completely got out of the situation, relocated myself from Dade County to Broward County, got a whole new association of people that I had no clue of, and put on my good people skills. And I started getting exposed to opportunities I was never even aware of. And then I met somebody in Martha's Vineyard. I was invited, my brother and I, for some awards and some recognition of, being big originators. And I met somebody, an investment banker. Apparently he liked me. I liked him. We connected. I kept in touch. Good people skills, never stressing, forcing the relationship, letting it organically build. And and what happens, you get an invite in life for the opportunity. And I took advantage of the opportunity when I got the invite. And it took off, man. It took off. I started that business before we started the actual corporation. The LLC was $1,700, no money. My mother-in-law gave it to me. She passed. She was a beautiful Cuban lady from Cuba. She took it out of her bra, old school style, and just handed it to me. She believed in me, amazing. And I miss her so much. My mom misses her. And from there, no lines of credit, no loans, no investors, no nothing. Just fully focused on customer value, one account at a time, because I learned way back when I used to try to skip the process because I was addicted to getting classified ads and responding to anything that had to do with become a millionaire, whether it was $49. I was just obsessed, but now we're doing nothing with it. Maybe 90% of the packages were worthless. I don't know, but I wasn't doing nothing with it other than getting caught up in the momentum of receiving packages, getting so excited and doing nothing with nothing. And it all changed, man. With my daughter, I'll never forget. I just was on a podcast today, and I walked out my in-laws. I was living at their house, man. I was on food. Sophie and I will be married 30 years this October 6th. We were living on food stamps, government assistance. I walked out for some reason to Priscilla, who was my daughter at that time. She must have been maybe a year and a half old. She was in the baby chair in the back, and Sophie, my wife, threw in a beat up Mustang that was given to us by her parents. The reverse fumes. That means when you're in the car, all that gas is coming back at you for some reason. It was just all peeled up and beat up Mustang. I walked up, man, and I seen Sophie, my wife, just drenched in blood, sweat. And I looked at my daughter, Priscilla, who's 29 today. She looked like a big, sweaty, just red, like strawberry, man. And it just hit me, man. It hit me where I got to get my crap together. I got to stop skipping this process. And I have to start saying, I have no money, but I want to become a millionaire. That's great to say. But the reality is that you need a penny to get to another penny. Take those 2 pennies to get 6 pennies. And I needed information on how to do it. So I dove into the information, but then I skipped the process of actually the small efforts of getting the penny. A lot of us always want the information, but you got to now get the pennies in order to do something with that information, because it takes money to make money. It's called stack and rack. And things happen, man, magically. I wind up in June last year, exiting for $1 billion valuation. There was no, all cash, all 3 slices. And give you some history on the slices. About maybe 5 years ago, give or take, so a big institution over $20 billion came knocking. Hey, we want to buy 30% of the company based on a $250 million valuation, and we want to pay all cash. Sure. Sounds great. Too good to be true. Pretty much ignored it, gave some energy to it, but expecting to be disappointed like always. Yeah. Well, sure enough, it closed, Jeff. It closed. What happened there? Why would someone do that? Well, shame on me. We were all focused on the business over here in our business, but they were paying for this. So we said, my gosh, we looked at this and we realized what the market wanted to pay. Forget about what we wanted. We were just making our money, paying a good lifestyle. So we put more fuel to what the market pays for. 11 months later, we go back to the same institution who had a first right refusal. And we say, listen, you have a first right refusal. We love you. You're investing for 30%, but we're going to market and taking 19% more off the table. And we still want to own and control 51%. Great. But we said it's based on 600 million, not 250. What? You got to be kidding me. Well, they closed because we got new information, bona fide information, good content, and we did something with it. We just didn't get excited about it. Yeah. We put fuel to it. 11 months later, we took it from 250 to 600 million, took 19%, all cash. 3 years later, put more fuel to that baby, rang the bell at $1 billion, It could have been 1.4 billion, but it came with some luggage here and there. And I wanted a simple transaction, nice and clean. I didn't want to do any of the fancy dancing that comes in M&As. And Sophie and I exited for our last slice based on 100 billion. So we took 17% off based on 100 billion last June. Throughout the years, Jeff, we learned something called stack and rack. Back in 08, 09, when we had a few dollars, in 05, 06, we started overpaying for real estate. I wanted to get into the real estate game because everybody was. I felt like I was missing out. I had a few dollars. So I started overpaying, getting really excited again, forgetting about the strategy, the fundamentals, over-leveraging myself, just swimming in it, just swimming, backstroking, pina coladas. Well, the market changed on us. Sophie and I almost filed bankruptcy. We bought about maybe $80 million worth of stuff. Learned a big lesson, and that's a value add in life. If you're able to learn from big lessons and maximize it, there's a value add just like in real estate. There's a value add that never ends in life. So in 11 or the end of 10, we went back in the market.
What was the big lesson you learned right there?
Not to overpay, not to over leverage, and not to believe in your own BS.
After a hard day of work of looking over office, copy, funnels, and building online businesses, I like to take a day, go to my jacuzzi, and pop open a Junie. If you don't know what Junie is, thanks to Jim and Kay, literally for a happy mind. This is the tropical flavor. It is phenomenal. Come when you finish, and it takes you to tropical place away. It makes you just want to, if you have a hard time relaxing like me, and you want to beat the energy drink thing, because I can't. 5 calories, by the way. Organic tea, green tea. Junie is infused with the most amazing stuff. And look, they put their signature on the back there. All right, so go click the link below. This is our sponsor for today, Junie for Happy Mind. So good. I give it to my friend. Way better than energy drinks. I'm gonna enjoy a Junie right in here.
In real estate, what I came to realize, spending time with Richard Branson. Sitting on, listening, Zamzel, how you become successful in real estate is on the buy. It's never on the sale.
Yeah.
It's on the buy. And then you cannot over leverage yourself just in case some events happen like we're in today.
Right.
So I learned that. And I became, every time I get good results in life is because I learn from big mistakes. The little mistakes we never really learn. We're always a repeated offender. Yep. But the big mistakes, those are the ones you cannot even repeat. You got to learn from them. So we said, you know what? We're not going to be scared of real estate. We seen what was going on in the market in 08. We said, man, 09, we're going to keep waiting patiently. In the meantime, we're going to stack. Because what happened to me, Jeff, I got so distracted of the main business, the business I just sold for $1 billion.
Right.
I ignored it, and I started getting fixated because us entrepreneurs, we love to get off lane. We're jumping around. We got another idea, another flow, and we're all over the place like lunatics. Yeah. And it started happening to me so much. I completely lost focus of the main business that I was neglecting and criticizing. We criticize our business because we want to talk ourselves into why we're looking over here when we should be staying here. We went back in our business, took care of it, because that same business bailed us out of the situation we almost filed bankruptcy in, started putting more fuel to this puppy, started cherishing it, started to burp it, started taking care of it, started feeding it, started fertilizing it, and it started growing again. Never lets us down. End of 2010, Sophie started looking. I started looking. This is the time we want to get back in. Yeah, we got scarred up. We got uppercuts. They knocked us down. We almost got killed, crushed. We're going back in to get our money. We went back in, started buying to the point where at those prices, we didn't even care what the conditions were. We were just buying garden apartments, 8 units, 4 units. No, matter of fact, I apologize. We started buying 1 house at a time. We went to 16 homes. Then we went to a duplex, triplex. And the reason we did that, because remember the mistake I said, I overpaid, over leveraged? I went so big, dude. I started buying 150 units. Yeah. Not even understanding the fundamentals, instead of buying 1 unit to understand the good, bad, and ugly. Yeah. So then we did start with 1 home, went to 16 homes. No joke. Duplex, triplex, 4plex, 5plex, 5plex and above. Now you're in the commercial scenario. 6plex. We went all the way to now we're, in the 400 units, the 472 units, a 300 unit type of thing. But we learned from it. So I'm a big believer. You have to start small, because you're going to learn so much from doing it. And if you can limit some of these horrible mistakes and when they do happen, at least it's not a big financial impact that almost crushed us.
Yeah.
You know, maybe you buy something in a hard, tough neighborhood just to smell it, feel it, understand it. Make sure this is what you want. You understand the long-term value proposition. You're not going to replace your job or your business overnight. We've been doing it for years. We have now $350 million, very low leverage. We feel that we got good prices. And yeah, dude. So it's amazing where I sit, and by doing these podcasts and speaking at some of these events, it's got to need to think back, because when you're asked these questions and the big mistakes, man, if you can't learn from the big mistakes and you repeat them, man, you expect the same outcome.
Well, so just as you said, and you're highly entertaining. This is a great thing, because you just, the way you talk is like me. It's funny because I bought a 4-unit just to learn about it, kind of same way, make sure I love this game. All my tenants listen to this stuff, and I've motivated them to make money. One of my tenants was able to make rent because I was able to coach them and show them a different way. So, like, I really love the coaching business and all that. I was actually just talking to Grant about that. The one thing you said, and this reminded me of me, whenever I didn't know a question for the longest time, I wanted to play football. I wanted to become a quarterback. I thought, I'm just a dumb jock, you know. I don't need to be, I'm not smart. People call me retarded because I talk fast. Let me just play quarterback. And I did. The guy told me I wouldn't become a play quarterback. And as entrepreneurs, we like to prove people wrong.
That's right.
So I play quarterback. But I got to ask you one of the questions I wrote down, because I was taking notes all day. What's an M&A? You mentioned an M&A when the business.
Mergers and acquisition.
Okay, perfect.
Mergers and acquisitions.
See, I'm not at that point.
I never knew about M&As. And by the way, for your listeners, a great resource on a website.
Yeah.
Most of you probably don't know about this website. Pitch, Pitch, book, BOOK.com. It's all about venture capital, private equity, and mergers and acquisitions. It's such a great resource to really, at least, don't go crazy. Don't dive too deep in it, because you'll lose focus like Bobby Castro did. But you want to get acquainted with it, because it applies to real estate as well as buying a business, maximizing a business. Because what it's all about, Jeff, in life, valuation. You have to increase valuation. You and me personally, we want to increase our value as a human being, as well as your investments. The job in life is to increase in value, not to decrease.
Right. Yeah, 100%. If I increase value, like, knowing me, anybody who knows me makes more money. So I hopefully somehow, some way, I don't know, positive mental attitude, buy a shirt on you. I know you did that. I used to say that all the time. As tough it can be for entrepreneurs, especially in the growing process where I am. I'm very blessed to be around. I have 2 software companies that I fully flooded. One was making really some good money. The other one we went into, right? I did that because I actually took action. So a lot of times what I did was I just wound up reading a little bit of stuff and taking action right away and figuring it out. And that's kind of led me to the point where I'm at now, having one of the most top-rated podcasts now, because I knew some resources. Hey, let's do it. I'm going to take action on it, right? But really, the one thing I want to say to our listeners, and I love everything. I love real estate. So what was your main business that you sold? Like, so they know. It was
healthcare finance. Healthcare finance.
Right.
So what that business is about, say, for example, you and I have a dental practice, and you want to get bought out. You're retiring. And I want to buy you out, because there's a lot more runway for me in this practice. I want to grow it, and you're pretty much content, but you want to be bought out for a few $100,000.
Right.
We will provide that buyout financing, that arm to buy out Jeff, because Bobby Castro is not ready to exit. You know, so these are practice acquisitions, or if you and I want to buy an MRI center or machine, or buy another practice, you know, you need financing, you need capital to leverage, to take advantage of opportunities to grow it and recap it and sell it. So that's one, including working capital, build out. So we serve the healthcare community, hospitals, urgent care centers. I mean, a lot of big clients and even small clients.
And you did that all when you were working at a restaurant, when you started it?
Dude. So the quick story of that, how did Bobby Castro fall into that? Because that sounds all fancy and dancy investment banking. And that's what's great, listeners. Don't get intimidated about the way someone speaks, or like, oh my God, that sounds very complicated. He must be a Harvard grad. I'm not. we all think that. There's so many businesses and industries, 90% of them are so simple and easy. I was selling memberships at the Better Business Bureau. And as I mentioned to you, I was a crackhead to get packages, classified ads. Right. Back then, there was no internet. Anything that had anything to do with success, I wanted to buy a package as long as it was like $50. I couldn't afford any more than that. Packages will come and more packages will come. I'll never do anything with it. Well, there was one package came, a solicitation about an opportunity about the industry I just described to you, Jeff. And at the same time, I was calling the company to pitch them on a membership for the Better Business Bureau. So the stars lined up, and the individual says, hey, Bobby, I hate this membership. I think it brings no value. However, because I was so persistent on my follow-ups, and again, people skills are so powerful, man, so powerful. If you can polish your people skills, you never get a no. He says, however, I'll buy the, I don't know, probably a couple $100 back then, the $200 membership, even though I hate it, I think it has no value. Under one circumstances, I want you to come work for me. And I had nothing going on. I said, this is, and I executed. I leveraged a relationship. I dove into content information. I became good at it. I didn't get distracted. She was off to the races.
Yeah, so great how you said that story right there. My local multimillionaire, JC Tanai, is my mentor. I went to work for him and just learned from him. And that's where I'm at. We've been a little quarantine days, so now I just built this business helping people make money online because I'm pretty good at making some money. I don't have $1 billion exit yet, all right? But I have all the tools and I'm taking action. The thing is that's very important for our listeners to hear, that sometimes selling yourself when people like you and being persistent, right? Like, then people will buy you. That's the one thing I noticed, man. When people are buying all this stuff, they're buying you, you know? And it's how true is that, right?
Man, there's a saying that's been around for many years. You can find it on the internet. When preparation, when you start maturing in life mentally, not talking about age, you can be 19 and still be mature. Yeah. When preparation meets opportunity, man, it is powerful. But when you're exposed to opportunity, Jeff, and you're not prepared for it, means you can't see it. There's so many opportunities that pass us all off. We're being exposed even today, and 99% of people can't see it because you're not prepared. You know, there's a great book that I love. It's been around a number of years. The Secret. I believe in manifestation. I believe in manifesting your life. Yeah. I have no religion in me. I don't know what I am. You know, as a kid,
are you Jewish or no?
Well, my dad passed at 94. He was Puerto Rican. My mother's Irish and Jewish. Okay. So they threw me in Catholic church, Christian church, the Jewish church, everywhere, dude. I just like being kind to people and respectful. Yeah. But The Secret is a powerful book. But more so, it took me several times to read it. Yeah. Right now in this environment, for many, this is like the best book to read. But you got to get into it. You can't be distracted. You got to surrender and read the darn thing and read it again. Go back to the other page. You got to get there mentally. You know, I was on a podcast or a conference with Jay Shetty. Yeah. I love this dude, man. The mind is very powerful, man. It can make or break us. And this is where this PMA comes in, positive mental attitude. I know it sounds corny. It sounds Donkey Kong to most.
No, dude. That's the one thing I connected with you the most about. So mentally, I've done so much study. The first year after my brother passed away in Finding Grant, I went all into the mind, affirmations, all that stuff, The Secret. And then I took action with it. So like you can have it, but saying it all and then doing it, they connect all the things. You're right. Preparation meets opportunity. Like everybody gets at the 10X Growth Con, I went up and talked to Dana White. There was like, how do you talk to Dana White this thing? Because all the preparation, doing Card on You all the time, reading The Secret, I Have the Millionaire Mind. I'm going to teach people. Dana White is the reason why I quit my teaching job. You know, I watched him go, I can always go back and be a bellhop. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to quit my job. Not knowing, Bobby, if you quit your job, you're not able to get your loan for your real estate. So I had to unquit, which is the most uncomfortable thing ever, you know? But we did it, and we got it. It's actually,
if most can just get there, and what I think, based on my personal life, that's why I can talk about is what works and what doesn't work for me.
Yep.
When I started being alone with myself, things took off, because I'll tell you right now, Jeff, when we're alone, when you're by yourself, you do not lie to yourself. You become very accountable. And most people don't want to get there. It's almost like when you're taking that warm shower, man. Your thoughts, I mean, that's where you need to stay, because those where the answers are, man. All these other distractions, a ton of friends, that's a full-time job to have a ton of friends. You can't be distracted, man. If you really want global success, it starts and ends with you, period.
Right. 100%. That's why, like, I've been more productive with this time here on a schedule, doing all this different stuff, because I got true to myself. Okay, what do I really want? I have the time. Let me go do it. And I'm going to build up these systems. And when the economy comes back, I'll go back there and I'll be running from where I'm at. Man, I'm loving this time with you. When you're not in the Florida Keys and we're not here, we're going to have to do something in person one time when we're at an event. All right.
Count on it, dude. Count on
all
that.
Right, I'm going to ask you, because I think we could go on. Me and you could go on like this forever. We're going to do some stuff together. There's certain people I just pick up. What people don't realize is in your journey, pick up who you want to be in your journey with. Add value to somebody else.
That's right.
I'm going to find a way I can add value to Bobby Castro right now, or whoever you want. You know what I mean? But I usually pick the people I like, man. So, yours is awesome, dude. I'm glad we're doing this. All right. So, best money advice. Let's say for the entrepreneur sitting home right now, he's negative in his bank account, right? But he's listening to this. What would the best money advice you give him right now?
What Bobby Castro eventually did,
yeah,
and he finally got it. He finally surrendered to the reality. You got to get a job.
Yeah.
Any job. You got to get a second job. You got to get a third job. If you're not willing to get 3 jobs in that prime example and you have nothing, you're down and out, man. You are on the floor. If you're not willing to do those things, you're never, ever going to get there. So many people contact me, Bobby, I want to get in real estate. I want to get and I ask questions. Okay, cool. How much do you have? So I can give you some sort of direction. Right. I have nothing. Okay, what do you do for a living? I work here. Okay, what are your hours? 9 to 5. Okay, what do you do after work? No, I go work out and I'm reading books. And when I tell them what I personally think they should do based on what worked for me, they don't want to hear it. They don't want to hear it.
Listen, Bobby, I'm not even at your level. Same thing, because I own a little floor unit. People asking me all questions. I love real estate. I love the numbers. I'm already kind of my next 37-unit buy. But you're right. It's the same thing. Bobby, we got to save ourselves time with these people.
And some people, Jeff, some people are so picky.
I know.
Some of them are unemployed. No, but that's not paying enough. No, that's not. I'm better than that. Dude, just get a dishwashing job. If you're not willing to put forth effort and work your way up, you're gonna be stuck. You're a hamster on a wheel.
Yep. And like a lot of things I do, I'll tell everybody, discipline your finances. Look at what you're spending, what you want. If you really want real estate, cut out those wants, the Dunkin' Donuts, whatever it is, man. Put it in there that, hey, I'm saving for whatever my 4 unit that you want to do, my 2 unit, right?
Stack and rack, man. Stack and rack. It's a trademark I have.
Sometimes they just, stack and rack. That's a great way to say it. Some people just fall in love with the term, but they don't know if they really love it, And I think that's where I find people. All right. The next thing is, when you were young, did you know you were going to be selling your company for $1 billion exit and own a $350 million real estate portfolio?
Absolutely not. All I talked about, I wanted to be a millionaire. Just getting to $1 million. That's all I never thought this. And that's the power of just small compounded efforts. You'll be surprised what life delivers to you if you just continue marching forward. Small efforts, small wins, Jeff. I used to try to hit it out of the park. Just hit the small wins. You build up confidence. You start having forward movements. But more importantly, you start getting results. And those results start just picking up.
So, Bobby, the one thing that I'll say about that, as I've been helping people now, I pay a little fee, I help them, seeing them win and make more money online. And I'm making less than I was for the window job right now, but it's so much more rewarding because I'm seeing that. And I'm like, oh man, this is awesome. That's what inspired me to write a book. So I'm like, if this is helping people, maybe I can sell a book and it can help people. I don't really care about being best seller. I'm not going to be a millionaire making a book. I just want to help more people, just with the little knowledge that I bought all those courses, All right. What's the next one? Oh, this one I really want to hear. I used to date Spanish girls. If I see a Cuban, I know how to salsa a little bit, right? I was an entrepreneur, dude. I love challenges. Right now, I don't drink alcohol. I don't chase girls, and I just gave up energy drinks today. Believe it or not. All right, no energy drinks.
Wow, awesome. Right? Me too.
And I love those things, man. But I gave them up for a little bit, maybe once in a while. But anyway, what's some relationship advice you could give me with a girl? You guys are very happily married. I watched your thing with Omar. What's up? And I'm not ready yet. I'm gonna wait a little bit, but what's when the time comes?
based on Sophie and I, and we'll be married October 6th of this year for 30 years.
Yes.
And we have been through some very challenging times, dark times, dark moments, obstacles. And what worked for Sophie and I, hands down, and we continue fertilizing this and we continue working on it. Everyone's going to talk about communication always. I'd rather say what worked for us, surrendering. You have to be willing to compromise. And what do you mean by that, Bobby? There's certain things that I don't like, but Sophie likes. Yeah. I have to be willing to compromise and bend to those things, because if you take the disc, D-I-S-C, you get, a lot of people can do it for free online on the internet. You will find out your partner in life is totally wired differently. And no matter what you do, he or she's not going to change on how they're wired. So it's your job to understand how they're wired, to work around it, communicate with them. We keep fertilizing, man. And we have a great relationship. We're very open with one another. We keep bending to one another. When we find the friction, especially now with this whole Corona stuff, we're spending even more time together. Just the other day, Jeff, we got into like a 2-minute little shuffling action, and something happened in the kitchen, and maybe it's some of this quarantine, but instantly we're so good at it that we caught it. And one of us, I don't know which one of us, said, hey, we got to watch ourselves. Don't let this momentum, because momentum is powerful. It can go good or bad. And if you start arguing, Jeff, that little argument can last for days. Separation, out of sight, out of mind. You start separating. Words are very powerful. Don't be reactive. Try to do this. Just keep it shut, and you'll be surprised the power of 20 minutes, it goes away.
Wow, I'm going to play that for my future wife right there. Hey, listen to Bobby right here, because I know we're going to be in there. Especially,
and we share everything. Our businesses, we're so commingled together. Yeah. This is not, we don't have separate bank accounts, separate businesses. We are 50-50 on everything. Some people don't buy into it. I just don't know how you have a life partner without going 50-50. I don't know how they do it, but it could work for some. My mom and dad had 2 checking accounts. My dad was only responsible for one bill, some ridiculous bill. He's very passive. My mom was, I don't know how they did it. And that's why their crap didn't work. My mom lived on the couch. I saw it growing up. My mom lived on the couch and he lived upstairs. They stayed married all the way through just for the kids. And he passed at 94 years old. They were totally miserable, man. And check this out. Here's your circle. Look at the separation, little by little. And pretty soon, 2 years, you're like this. And so fertilize it, man.
Yeah, fertilize it. Dude, great. This is nuggets, man. This is one of the top. Elena's interview, me and Elena Cardone, was really good. I think you might be number 2. So people got to step it up.
I gotta watch it. Elena's good people, man. She's very transparent.
Listen to her advice about people in the quarantine time. I don't mean me, and listen to me. She was actually really good in there. I brought a lot of stuff. Make More Money podcast. Check it out. It was really good.
Absolutely.
All right. Just put it on the background. So looking forward to next. What's something Bobby Castro is looking forward to next?
So Sophie and I, we're on our mission of 100-year legacy plan. And what I mean about that, there's a stat that Sophie and I are very concerned. 2 people like Sophie and I create some sort of financial wealth in our life. Yeah. We set up all these trusts. We do everything the right way. Then you have 2 awesome children, Priscilla and Brandon. They spend it all. And there's nothing left for Ocean, Oakley, my 2 grandchildren, and my future grandchildren's and 100 years from now. So Sophie and I, we've been working really hard with our children and some other family. We have a family office. We want to have a 100-year legacy plan. We want to be so unselfish. Somebody in my strand, my DNA, they never took time to think about the people 100 years from now. I want 100 years from now saying my grandkids call me Papa and they call Sophie Mimi. I want them to, somebody go up to one of my great-great-great-grandchildren 100 years from now. Man, how did your family, why does your family have that name on that building? Or how'd you guys do it? Who started your family business? I want them to mention my and my wife's freaking name. Papa Mimi started all this. I don't want to spend all the money. I don't need, look at us, we're in quarantine. I'm saving so much money and I'm so freaking happy. I don't need anything else. There's nothing else to spend it on. I want to stack and rack. I want to invest for my 100-year legacy plan. So my grandchildren have that last freaking ticket off the island. And money, I used to be caught up in money. Then I started realizing money allows you to have the resources. If God forbid health issues come. God forbid, circumstances happen. That's where money comes to play. Money, I don't get really turned on by buying material things. So I have a nice watch. My favorite watch right here, man, is my G-Shock. It's just who I am. I'm not trying to pretend to be anybody else. I do have nice watches, you know, but I really don't wear them. But I hopefully that answers the question.
Oh, dude, that's great. You mean you were very similar? I could have bought a really nice car and showed it off and did the whole Instagram thing. I'm me, man. I'd rather tell you about a software that made money that I'm proud of, that I built and helped with. You know what I mean? Like, I love the challenge of stuff. Like right now, I'm at my dad's house in quarantine because I don't know how much time I'm going to have with my dad. So I want to enjoy it out here. As I get my 4 year now, this is my old bedroom that I painted color to. I'm sure, and I'm talking to Bobby Castro learning great stuff. But like, there's no.
Yeah, but you know, one thing I want to say too, Jeff, I am very concerned about technology. It's a beautiful thing, but I think it's going to be possibly the self-destruction of all of us, because when my grandbabies are my daughter's age at 29, I don't know how the world's going to be. I don't know what jobs. I think 90% of jobs could be replaced, and I want to do the hard efforts and be unselfish to get them off this island. That I'm telling you, technology, man, look around. Slowly by slowly, it's subbing jobs where it's more efficient, it's cheaper. Before I exited, I was even subbing jobs because technology doesn't come with a personality. There's no compliance. It's 100% accurate. There's no lawsuits. It's crazy.
Yeah, well, the part of why I got into code and software is because I see where the trend's going, and I want to be in control of the trend. Where I want to actually change. So for Bobby Castro's Island, or whatever your legacy believes, I want to have a part where it's like doing a positive for it, because you can use it in a very negative way for that, but you need certain people. So how I'm creating my software, and I'll show it to you one time or whatever, you'll see it, is where it's going to actually create more jobs in it. Like the way it's done, people can work in it. So it's more people-based. Because part of the reason why I work for JC Tenati, he's a local multimillionaire. He's a face-to-face guy, right? I want to bring that, because you don't lose that with software. Look at, dude, half the world's quarantined, half the world's on Instagram Live right now, because you're never going to lose the face-to-face.
Incredible.
How technology, you're going to need some of that, you know?
Incredible.
So I have a big mission passion, so I'm with you there. And whatever I can do to help your legacy live on, I'll donate to it or something like that.
Thank you, my brother. I'm
going to make it, because here's in town here, there's the, who is it? The Florians and those people, right? You know, so you always hear about that in certain towns. There's going to be the Castros, man. We're gonna live
awesome, man. Appreciate that.
So, all right, what's one change? And I'm beyond time here. This is I'm enjoying this. What's one change in education? Grant said I'm not going to change the education system. I always joke around. I'm surrounded. Actually, I was with Tim Story. He's like, well, LeBron's already doing it. There's people already doing it, realizing they were getting the wrong information. Those same $50 courses that you were buying, I want to put more of that in a public school system. What do you think is one of the best ways to change that?
In high school, without a doubt. I just did an awesome podcast yesterday with a young dude, his senior. His name is Jacob. And I personally thinking as a young person, I'm telling you, man, not senior, I personally think as a junior high, 11th grade, that is the time to put away the books. No one really, I hate to say it, and I'm not criticizing education, man, but I used to hire people that have $250,000 in debt, and they were coming to me to work as a salesperson when they could have come to me without that $250, just like I went. I mean, and I think, you know, I'm not a big fan of our education system, especially college. I see no value. This class action suit, you see every company being sued for class action suits. They never sue these universities because I don't know what they're teaching them, because when they come to me and say they're in marketing or whatever the profession is that we're hiring them, the position, I am telling you, they're not learning much. I am shocked. I was shocked every time. I'm talking about some big universities that get you interviewed because of that degree. I don't know. I'm not a big fan. I'm a big fan of knowing how to balance a checkbook, knowing the facts of life, the reality after you leave high school, and letting them know, don't put pressure on the college. A college degree is not going to get you nothing. I'll tell you one stat that I truly believe in, and unfortunately, I don't know how it came about. The A students in life wind up working for the C and D students.
Yeah. Oh, I
don't know why, but it's a big stat.
Yeah.
You know, Mark Zuckerberg, the only reason he became successful, he went to Harvard and he surrounded himself with like-minded people
Yep.
So he benefited from just going to Harvard. He never got a degree. He eventually got the degree because they gave it to him. But you surround yourself. That's the only value I see of going to these fancy dancy schools. You get to maybe run into a Bill Gates and, hey, let's build a rocket ship.
Yeah, well, it's funny. Bradley, who was also on here, he goes, people always ask me, you don't have a degree? He goes, no, I have a Harvard one working for me. I have this working for me, right? So he always says it that way. All right. So I guess where can people find more of the great Bobby Castro?
Well, my son created that Instagram page, Official Bobby Castro, a website, bobbycastro.com. I have a personal page and a business Facebook page. I guess it's under Bobby Castro. But one social platform I would like to at least tell your viewers they should give this some love, man. LinkedIn. It's a boring platform. It's the most powerful platform out there. It truly has incredible golden rivers of opportunities. It's not flashy. It's not going to show you a Ferrari. It's not going to show you a dancer. It's not going to give you a funny TikTok clap. It gives you real value. I'm not criticizing all the other platforms. I just don't know why young people are not diving into LinkedIn. That is where you're going to find the Bobby Castros, the Grant Cardones, the Jeffs. There's opportunities there for you to leverage these relationships. But we're all caught up on the flash, though, man.
Yeah, no, it's very true. Actually, Brian Cuban, who that one's coming out today, so people will see that back. He had a very similar, had to come over addiction and everything. I connected with him on LinkedIn through everything. And you're 100% right. That's definitely somewhere to always use it as well. It's you know what it is too. It's a better form of people. You're a little bit more professional, a little bit more polished. My buddy Bryn, actually, who is another. It's funny. These people that I knew, now they start doing software. I find out they're venture capitalists, just like you. I didn't know what an angel investor, venture capitalist was. But now they're like looking at my software. I'm like, no, I don't want you to have any part of this, man. Let me go build it, and I'll come back. So who knows?
And I wish, the good thing about Instagram, it's very hassle-free. It's simple. Yeah. And I wish LinkedIn maybe comes up with a different format to be more hassle-free because, man, there's real deals on. Guess what, guys? You can email or contact, however it works, to some of the most powerful entrepreneurs out there. Guess what? You're going to get a reply. These people are used to replying. I'm telling you, you're swimming in the wrong pool at times.
Yeah. No, that's great advice from Bobby Castro. Swim in the right pool, get around the best people. As you're all quarantined in here, if you're like, oh, don't make excuses, make results, go out there, get on LinkedIn, whatever your niche is, figure it out, go home, get true to yourself, right? Figure out a niche and then go out there, network, and find out who's going to like you enough that you can partner with and add value enough to each other, right?
1,000%, Jeff. Well said.
My man. All right. I mean, really hear from you. I was just trying to sum up everything I
No,
got.
dude. No, you're right on it. You're right on it, man. And that's why you're moving forward.
Yeah, no, dude. So here, let me ask you this, and I got to go with Lewis. He's going to be mad in a second. But what's some advice you give me? I almost feel like, I'm starting to have a little bit of success. People are starting to recruit me out. People want to be on my podcast. And now I'm almost like, I'm not there yet. It's kind of my thing. Like, I'm almost scared of the success I'm about to have in this whole thing blowing up. Like, I'm going to write a book, and I'm doing it all to help people. What's some advice you give me right now for all that?
So what's taking place in your life, how I see it, you're obviously prepared. Opportunities are some of these individuals you're interviewing. You have now entered a point in your life where now you're exposed to real value. Your job, and what I would do, is put the blinkers on and let these relationships you're meeting, like you and I, organically built. Yep. And the invite comes. And your value, even if you're going to be making less money, the value return you're going to get because of relationships, if you fertilize the relationships the correct way, my gosh, because I'm telling you, you have to leverage relationships like you have to leverage money. And you're being exposed to a circle that is extremely powerful, and you're a very likable individual. You have an amazing story. I like you. As soon as we connected, you're a magnet. So you're either going to make or break your success on how you control that magnet.
Yeah, and that's true. I think that's it. I'm very I want to control the best way. I'll say, hey, this weekend I'm going to work at a restaurant just like you, Bobby. I'm going to go make some side bucks. And I love that. I'm going to help the local restaurants stay in business and make a little instant cash because I've lost. And the local multimillionaire, JC Tenati, who I want to get him known like you are. I'm going to show him this one because he's giving me so much value. Bobby, I could have went and worked for Renewal by Anderson, right? I worked for a home contractor who does the right stuff because I wanted to learn real estate, learn from him, added total value to him, where now I told Joe the other day, hey, we might have to restructure my deal here, man, you know? But my goal was literally to bring him up more sales, hire more sales team, make him more money. And unfortunately, this COVID thing kind of hampered that. So I do want to get him up. I want to increase the sales a little bit more before we have that conversation. But basically, man, it's all about giving value. Yeah, I know. Me and you. Yeah, there's certain people I've had on here that I don't like, and those episodes haven't aired yet. It was a very confrontation. They're gonna have to pay to air it. You don't have to pay to air this one, man. This one's going.
And you know why? You know why you're able to be interviewing some awesome people out there. You're being who you are. You're not trying to be somebody else. And a lot of young people, unfortunately, man, are trying to get away from who they are, and that's why you're gonna be successful, man. And customers love it. I love it. People love it. You become a magnet. It's amazing. Yeah. So never lose that magic, Jeff. Always be who you are, just like you are right now.
Oh, thank you. Because there's another kid who has the Lambo, has the whole stuff, and he's been interviewing big top names. And I thought I should go that route. And I thought, no, this is entrepreneur in me, Bobby. I was like, no, I'm going to be real. I think people buy authenticity. I can't be alone. I'm going to do it this way, being a real relationships and give real value back to people like we did today. So. Dude, right, you're awesome. I'm so glad we did this. I really do have a schedule, though. I'm very
thank you, my brother.
I'm not in Florida Keys yet, you know. So
much love, man. You're good people. Looking forward to staying connected. Thank you for the invite, man.
Yeah, I'm gonna shoot you a message on LinkedIn on this things, and I would love you push it out to your audience. All right.
Absolutely, man. Count on that. PMA, awesome. Buddy. Much love, man.
My bad. Be good. Have a
all right, dude.
PMA. You've been doing a few of these all day, right?
You know, I said I was going to do this when my son got me on social media. When I exited a company that I was part of, and I said, Brandon, so Dad, let me get you on social media. You always pour your hearts out to all my friends that pick your brain, and you're always giving tremendous value, and maybe you can help others because you're used to going 100 miles per hour and you're going to go down to 20, and maybe this can help you. And sure enough, it has, without a doubt. I said 6 months. I'm 10 months into the deal, Jeff. Pouring out my heart, no motives. Don't want money from nobody. Don't need the money. Just want to give value. I'm in a good stage of my life, and a lot of people have been asking, this mentorship stuff or some what I plan on doing, just staying busy, taking care of my investments, and just giving value with pure good intentions, man. Whoever wants to hear it, listen to it, buy into it. And that's where I'm at, man.
Yeah, dude, that's
you
awesome.
There, Jeff?
Yeah, I'm there. It's a little, where are you in Florida? I mean, California, right?
I'm actually, no, I live in South Florida. I'm actually in the Florida Keys.
Oh, Florida Keys. Oh, okay. Very, very nice. So that's a good spot
I have a place
right
here. Yeah, I've been here for 7 weeks quarantine. I'm actually heading back to Fort Lauderdale today. But beautiful. I spent some time here. Beautiful sunsets. So we've been here 7 weeks, my wife and I. So
nice.
We're hanging out here.
Awesome. Yeah. So we're just going to get into it. I have a half-hour slot for you because I actually am jumping on with something with Lewis. Lewis housed it a little bit. But actually, Grant, I was just on the phone with Grant. Grant Cardone told me to tell you to say hello. All right.
Oh man, send him a high five.
Well, he'll see it. We'll put it all on here too. He's a good dude. So, did you ever see the video of me and Grant? Know about my story?
None at all. I know that I feed off of a lot of my son, Brandon. He's 23 years old, so he knows more what's going on out there. And I have strict rules with my son. I said I want to give value when it comes to podcasts. I don't need to be on the biggest and brightest podcast. That's not what I'm about. I'm looking to help other Bobby Castros start in their career, giving them value. And I want to make sure it's exposed to the younger population. So they, so that's where I'm at. But Brandon tells me some awesome things about you. He says, Dad, this guy has good content. He has bona fide, he looks for good people to give value. So he recommended, and I said, let's rock and roll, man. Plus,
I'm going to be having
on a DM, and that's me, by the way, DMs. That was me, so I appreciate it.
So here, I'm going to tell my story really quick, then we'll get into everything, just to get a little backstory of what this is and why I'm giving back. This is I've been doing podcasts for a while. I got Brian Cuban, brother, and Mark Cuban's coming now. Mark Cuban's coming on in, I think, December. Dana White, Grant will be on later. I just had Elaine on. So I've got all big names. So people are actually trying to pay me to be on this podcast because the promotions where we put it out. But really where I'm at right now, it's called the Make More Money Podcast. Because if people don't do drugs and they're growth minded, I want to help them make more money. All right. So that's what and I'm going to explain the reason why I said it that way. 3 years ago, my older brother, Jay, lived in Boca Raton, Florida. He married a Playboy model. She left him for a multimillionaire named Rick Gonzalez. You can look him up. Long story short, we came home, drew out a napkin, a dream to build a coffee shop music studio. All right. I was always entrepreneurial. So he's like, Jeff, I need your help. I said, all right, we got it, Jay. 2 days later, I went to wake him up, Bobby. I went to wake him up to get a haircut. He passed away on drugs, fentanyl. All right. Drugs, cocaine. Wow, when that happened, I was a teacher at a behavioral middle school, teaching all the wrong stuff. My student committed suicide, right at the same time in the funeral home. Then the head teacher girl, who me and her were kind of romantically involved, HR goes, you talk to her, you're fired. I said, fire me now. I don't care if I live. They put me in 4 therapy lessons. The lady said, you have OCD, ADD, go get medicated. I said, fine, medicate me up. I don't care if I live. I went home to my dad. My dad gave me the book, Power of the Conscious Mind, and then showed me a video by our boy, Grant Cardone. I watched that 2-minute video. I go home that day. I'm a Jesus guy. I pray, God, I don't care if I wake up. I searched Grant Cardone depression. He talks about they wanted to medicate him. It was potential problems. He talks about how if Oprah did it, you can do it. Dude, it lit a fire under me. I started a photography business, led to video editing business, started a YouTube channel, bought a software script. That's where I am currently right now. I'm invested partnership in a huge software. I'm going to have a lead generation software one day, but my business partner, Ahmad, I kind of just funded it and gave his software. We're at a standstill with the software right now. So now I'm just doing coaching sessions to help people make money online. My goal is really to help other people make more money, kind of similar to you. So that's what it is. By doing that, I've actually people pay me for coaching sessions now, and I only have enough so they pay attention so they can make money. I'm not trying to be greedy with it all. I want to get better, you know? Eventually, I want to have an exit like you do. So we're going to get into it. But that's my whole story. The why is I'm still going to build up, Bobby, whether this world passes away. Kokomo J's, the biggest coffee shop music studio ever. Because we don't give up in America. That's my why. And I work every day for it. Grant knows it. Everybody knows it, man. You know? So whole world's watching now, you know?
Hey, guys. Thank you for watching the episode of the Make More Money podcast. The best takeaway was literally, if you watch at the end, I stayed at the end that I prefaced it. Bobby Castro had no clue who I was. I kept it at the end where I shared my story. And I did it in a different format because, you know, the guy had $1 billion exit. Although me and Bobby are like, we're best friends now. He's definitely collabed. There was a time I saw him at the event and he just saw me at it. This is why it's so good to start your podcast. By the way, start a podcast. Click one of the links below to see when we do our masterclass on how to start a podcast that makes you money. That's what the Make More Money podcast is. Shout out to my buddy Dan. I'm going to be at his toy drive tonight. And just the fact that we brought back the Make More Money podcast as a sponsored podcast. Okay, so if you want to sponsor it, you want to be on, click the links below. We'd love to, you know, interview you. We only accept on people who really have a true story, can give out value or help people from it, and sponsors that we do as well. The one thing I want to say is that I shared my story, right? And I shared it in the format of value, emotion, and a subtle call to action. And it was just a great way to set the podcast because then me and Bobby just hit it off in such a great way. And I've seen Bobby speak at events like me. You know, there's been certain people that we have a high energy when we go out, right? It's a God-given energy. And it showed me that, hey, you can still have that God-given energy. You could go from busboy to $1 billion exit, and we're closer to our $1 billion exit. I know this software got you know, almost acquired for a little bit more, which is great because of the systems that are installed, that we've installed for this, that we do for our companies right now. And it's not easy, it's work, but man, it's sowing your land of where you're going to be at and reaping the harvest of, you know, Kokomo J's sooner than ever when it's going to be here. The second thing that he did, he literally talked about when preparation meets opportunity, and it's not an age thing, it's how much you are. And as I mature all the time, as I'm reading books, I'm always downloading myself, as I launch our own mastermind or Changing Lives community that maybe you're a part of, right? And you're watching this, or I'm a part of another event like I am going forward, I'm always developing myself better, right? A better servant of the Lord, a better person, a better man of God, right? A better leader to my company, right? Because a lot of times we don't ever really look back at like what we're preparing in the day. We get so caught at the end that we don't enjoy the in between. So a lot of times is when you do prepare and you have the opportunity, like I've met, as we started bringing on people, paying us just for consulting, look over how to automate their webinar process. All that stuff is the preparation I was doing way back then. I was just trying to help people make money, to now where I've done it at such a level now. And we actually have a podcast studio out here, the Move Miami, that we recorded in. I'm so blessed. So blessed. Just even out here, like, it's amazing. And this is something I learned from him. Non-refundable minutes I'm spending with you, you're spending with me. We're cooking chicken here. We're double tasking everything we can. And the greatest thing about all of this is, as I really pray, I yield to God who I'm called to serve. I see so many people who've been blessed by this podcast, blessed by conversations that I've had. We're about to meet somebody else out here soon. They want to meet out for coffee. Man, I really can't wait to have my own coffee shop. Probably send them to Amber Wilson. She's the newest addition to the Change Life Consulting team. She does all my calls and leads our whole team, and just sees the vision of this. So what I really want to say is that, as I'm just so grateful right now. See, I'm being like Bobby, that it's okay to be like Bobby, right? And go out there and do it. The other takeaway was about relationship, when he really talked about him and Sophia, which are now like family to me. They come to all these events. Maybe I think what we'll do, we're gonna have Bobby back on, and we'll have him and his wife on a podcast together. I would love to do that, Bobby, if you're watching this too. We'll get it done. But by the way, guys, click any of the links below, whether you want to sponsor the episode, whether you want to apply to be on this podcast, and whatever you want to do, whether you want to join our mastermind, whether you want to come to one of our workshops. I look forward to seeing you. Whether you want to get on the shred diet that we're on, all right, that we're doing December 28th, faith, fitness, and finance. All right, start your 2025 strong. The Lord's blessed me. The Lord bless you and make his face shine upon you. He's given you God-given gifts right now. I am so blessed to be a part of it with a lot of people I built out. The best is truly to come.